Here's a quick little update on the truck. Also, we got a TV in the shop now. We also have a couch up there now. So I'm getting back on this. What I'm gonna do is I had to get the truck level. Got the front end as level as I can. These brackets that I had made are just clamped in. I was gonna bolt them, but now I think I'm going to actually weld them. But for now I'm just gonna tack weld them in place. That way I can actually take the front end off, because I'd like to try to get the motor fitted up in here within a couple weeks maybe, depending on what I have going on. So I've done a ton of measuring. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be as close as I can get it. So I'm going to tack weld that stuff up. I have a really hard time filming and working on this truck for some reason, because I get so caught up in what I'm trying to figure out to do. So that's what I'm going to do now. Alright, it's actually a couple days later, but I got the front end off. I got the core support brackets tacked on there. Now my next plan is I would like to finish up some welding on the frame. I would like to fully weld these in. I would like to fish plate the joints here, and then possibly start mocking up the steering or getting the engine mounts ready. This video is going to be bouncing all over the place because I don't actually have a lot of time to work on it, and so it's probably just going to be like day after day after day in one video. And also because I didn't cut these at a 45 and a 45 because I didn't like the look of the angle. I thought this looked better. I need to dove this. I'm thinking of cutting it back here and then pounding this up flush. I'm not exactly sure yet how I'm going to do that. I'll probably do that later. I'm not too worried about that right now. I can always do that after the engine is in and I get other stuff figured out. Hello, it's been another week. Like I said, this video is going to be all over the place. Since last week, we have torn down the add-on of the loft. We tore it down because it was very sketchy. It was about to fall down. It was poorly built. No offense to whoever owned this place before, but it was a little sketchy and needed to come down. Also, looks like Zach is getting ready to leave for his last round of FD. We got his car running and driving with a transmission in it. I say we, but as a shop, but I had nothing to do with it. That was our buddy David, who is one of Zach's mechanics on his team. Holy freaking body parts. It looks like I acquired a S13 trunk. That'll probably look pretty sick on the back of this truck. Also, the back of my C10 has filled up with a bunch of my garbage again. And so before I think I do anything today, I want to get all of this shit out of here. I'm not going to film it because that will be boring, but I'm going to work on that before I touch the rest of the truck. Also, are we becoming drug dealers? Zach, are we becoming drug dealers? Because I want in on some of that. I need some money to fix that truck, and you know that. Don't leave me out of this. Okay, so that got old pretty quick. There's still a bunch of small stuff in there that I don't know what to do with right now, and I don't want to mess with it anymore. I'm kind of at like a standstill. I got to figure out what my next move is going to be, and I'll kind of explain what's happening. So I wanted to mock up the steering because I have a rack and pinion. I'll go show that real quick. So here is the rack and pinion steering. It's from POL, I think it's called, a POF, Performance, no, POL, Performance Online. Kit was stupid expensive. It was like $1,000. So I wanted to plate the ends here on the inside and the outside, so I had gotten those prepped. And then I was going to mock up the steering, and I realized that where the steering mounts on the side is kind of in the way of where my plate's going to be. And then I realized, well, I don't know if the steering is going to be in the way of the engine. So before I do that, I'd like to get the engine in so I can mock up the steering, and then that way I know what kind of brackets I have to build, because the brackets that the plating, the fish plating, might tie in to the steering rack brackets as well. And so, turn around where it's light. And so, it's kind of like a domino effect. I want to plate the frame, but the steering might be in the way, but the steering might be in the way of the engine. So I have to do engine, steering, then the frame plating. So I guess I need to start cleaning up this mess here. A lot of this wiring isn't even going to be here because I'm doing a whole new chassis harness. And the only reason why I haven't tackled this yet is because it just looks scary. Even though I'm not really using it, I'm afraid I'm going to like get rid of something that I might need to use. And then I need to dig the bracket out of the bed of the truck and start getting that all ready. I don't really know what... I know I can't get the engine in today. The engine hoist, we actually got engines... I can't even talk. We actually got a cherry picker, or an engine hoist, but it's buried behind a bunch of stuff right now, and Zach is in the process of getting ready for his next competition. And so, I don't really know. I can weld up the brackets. Also, I fixed that shock mount. That shock mount was ripped out, so this had gone in and was wiggling up and down. So I welded in a reinforcement washer. I did that last weekend. Okay. Got the whole front end off again, minus the hood because the thing is too heavy for me to get by myself. I found the other engine mount in the bed. This one is just kind of laying here stupidly. I'm going to tackle this stuff in a different video, or maybe completely off video. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld up the brackets finally. I took off the fenders so I can actually sit in here and weld. Last time when I had the fenders on, I was trying to get in here and it was kind of a pain in the ass. Just makes more sense to take the fenders off so I have more room to get all the way around. I'm out of breath because I'm getting fat and I'm old, getting old. As much for it sucks for you guys because I understand this is a build video thing. I think I'm going to weld all this up off camera. That way I don't have to focus on setting up the angles. And I just want to focus on welding that up because it's probably going to take me a while because I want to do a decent job at it. I don't want to focus on the camera. So I just want to spend the next however long it takes me to weld those up. And then I might throw some paint on it just to keep it from rusting, get some flash rust. Well, I got about 1/4 of the inch in the weld, and I thought it gummed up because the wire wasn't coming out anymore, but apparently I ran out of wire, which is crazy because last weekend I checked it and I thought I had enough, but guess I was wrong. It's not that big of a deal though. I guess I just have to go find some wire. Alright, I decided to stop being a little bitch and go to town and get some wire and finish up welding. Finished up welding it, and I self-etched primered it. Then I put some other primer on it, and then I painted it gloss black. The welds aren't like super beautiful, but I'm also not a master fabricator, so it is what it is. Obviously, I'm gonna have to grind some of that off again when I make the plates, But for now, I didn't want to end the video off being a freaking poor sport, so I decided to bitch up and finish what I was going to do. Now I'm leaving.
I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in the big leagues. Told him that I gotta go, dog. I'm riding the road, y'all.